Hey, sisters, you guys ready to talk about how we can find peace as we wrap up this year? There's so much finish the year strong, do everything harder, and I'm not here for that. I am all about finding peace and equanimity these last few weeks of the year, and I want to help you guys do that. This actually came up because I had a client this week who was really struggling because she's worked really, really hard all year long to reach some new goals. She's done incredible, but this first few weeks of December, she messaged me and said, Jess, I feel like I've taken 10 steps backwards, and I just want to note here the operative word in what she said was feels like. It feels like. And I know many of us have that long history of perfectionism, all or nothing thinking. And so when we aren't performing, it feels like we're not doing a good enough job or we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. So today I want to talk about how we can give ourselves just permission to be at peace the next couple weeks as we round out the year with our body, with food, and be okay and feel a little bit more comfortable in the non-performing season that this is. Guys, I want to be your gentle reminder today that you don't always have to be performing. You don't always have to be achieving something bigger and better. Our culture tells us that we do, but we don't. We can just be in a place where we're enjoying and reflecting and connecting. Most importantly, it's that connection piece. In today's episode, I'll be talking about why this season of rest and giving yourself permission to be at peace is so important, and 3 ways you can do it, especially if you are one of those that's always wanting to perform or feeling like you shouldn't take a pause here. So super excited for you guys to hear this one, and my prayer and hope is that it blesses you and gives you peace as we round out the year, because we only got 2 weeks left. We got to enjoy. We got to have some fun. We got to connect with those people that we love. All right, let's dive in, sisters. Hey, awesome. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I know you're ready to stop falling into diet culture traps and finally put together a realistic plan on how to boost your energy. You might feel stuck because you can't quite kick the chocolate habit. The whole body love thing isn't getting the job done. Or maybe you're at an impasse because you are pushing it in the gym, but you can't figure out how and what to eat. How many times have you Googled best diet and found that the latest trend has failed you? Hey girl, I'm Jess. Registered dietitian, wife, mama, and total science and nutrition research junkie. I too used to be stuck in this cycle of insecurity and never feeling like my body was good enough. Then I tried to fix it with food only to end up right back where I started. I did some really hard work. I found food freedom, but then I was confused on how to eat healthy and get fit without falling back into diet culture crazy. I wish someone would have taught me the difference between discipline and obsession. I wanted to be the healthiest version of myself by balancing healthy eating with food freedom. How do I actually eat healthy, get fit, and have donuts with my kids? It wasn't until I figured out this awesome balance between discipline and permission, the art of intentional eating with sprinkles of flexibility. The empowered eating model was born. Here on the show, we nix diet culture while creating values-based health goals. We reconnect with how our body responds to food through biofeedback, all the while figuring out a plan on how to get healthy and fit without sacrificing the most meaningful parts of life. Sustainability doesn't mean never eating your favorite foods again. I mean, pizza is life, right? We are here to finally not just feel comfortable, but confident in our body. I am so excited to fuel your awesome with empowered eating. Head on over to jessbrownrd.com and grab my 3 steps to empowered eating guide, totally free. Or hop onto my e-course, Food Foundations, to get the step-by-step deets on how I got here. All right, you ready to take your inner awesome to the next level? So grab that cup of coffee, lace up those running shoes, because girl, it's time to go. Okay, sister, if you are listening to this today, I know you are hardworking, accomplished, and a motivated woman. How do I know this? Because if you weren't motivated or if you weren't hardworking, you wouldn't need permission to rest. Rest is a natural part of our human cycle. I believe our body, the physiology of our body is cyclic. We work during the day and we rest at night. Why wouldn't our performance and productivity be the same? But our culture constantly tells us that we have to be productive, we have to be performing, we have to be doing something. And I want to take this time during this unique time in the year to just give you that permission slip to rest. And I have to tell you, you are not alone. I mean, I'm coming off, I had a sickness over the weekend, and even in my sickness, I still have some of that old voice that pops in and is oh, are you sick enough to stay home though? How bad is it? Could you go anyways? Like, you've already missed too many days. And I just think some of that little voice is so deeply embedded in our head. And while we can do a lot to get rid of it, it still pops up every now and again. So I want to have this conversation today just to give you that perspective and invitation to find joy in the lack of productivity this season. Now, just a quick note here. I do believe in seasons, and this December, if y'all have been listening and tuning in, you know my intention and invitation to you was just to have some joy this season with food, with rest, with connection with loved ones, and to slow down. And so that doesn't mean throwing, all my health habits out the window. I'm keeping some of the solid ones that I have maintained over and built over the year, but I'm not feeling the need to set any major goals or hit any PRs. I'm just finding the rhythm and sitting in that and being okay with it. So that is the season, but I do know we're coming up into another season. And if you're thinking that come the new year, you do want to try to hit some new goals or strive to hit a new level of health, I want to let you know Next Level Nutrition is accepting applications for 2023. If you don't know what Next Level Nutrition is, let me tell you. I kicked it off in the fall. It is a small mastermind group where I meet with y'all live for 10 weeks, and it is something that I'm so passionate about. It is so cool to meet with you guys one-on-one and just to be a part of your journey in real time, to see you as you grow, to come together with other like-minded women who don't want to go back to diet culture. We don't want to count calories. We don't, want to go back to all that negative and distortive narrative that we have worked so hard to get away from. And at the same time, we know we can take our health to the next level. So if you're thinking that's where you want to be, I want you to know those applications are up and open. We're about halfway full right now. So if you want to snag your spot, go ahead and do it. You can head on over to jessbrownrd.com/next level nutrition. There will also be a link in the show notes. And we will be looking over those applications very carefully and putting assignments and letting y'all know who's going to be invited into the crew the first and second week of January. We'll kick off the third week because, that gives us some time to get our crap together. I don't know about you guys, but I need a couple weeks when we kickstart that year. And then we'll dive in together. It's 10 weeks of nutrition education, accountability, customized nutrition support. And again, it's all live in real time. So again, if you want to snag your spot, jessbrownrd.com/next level nutrition. All right, let's talk a little bit about rest and peace and recovery. Now, I believe that we are cyclic human beings. We are not meant to be performing all of the time. And I believe so much in the rest, the recovery, the peace seasons. I believe in them because I think they set us up to do better when it's time to go push ourselves, challenge ourselves, and grow more. So I think this is a great time, this last 2 weeks of the year. Work is kind of winding down. There are lots of parties and festivities, but really the focus of our culture shifts from just naturally from what we do in our normal go get 'em rhythms to something different this last 2 weeks of the year. And I think it's a great time to practice a different angle of our empowered eating skills. So I don't know who needs to hear this, probably you, because I know I had to tell myself this, but you are allowed to find rest and peace this last 2 weeks. You don't have to perform. You don't have to push your body above and beyond. You don't have to follow your meal plan to the T. Sometimes we need to allow space for rest and a timeout to set us up for the next time we want to challenge ourselves and grow. And I think the final 2 weeks of December is the perfect time to do this. Okay, so I'm going to talk about 3 ways that we can lean into this season of peace and pause and still grow. And again, this is where our world tells us that when we're not being super productive, we're not growing. I'm wrong. That could not be any more wrong. I think there is just as much growth that can happen in these pause moments. So the first one is recognizing that maintenance is an accomplishment in and of itself. I want to invite you to think of this pause on productivity a little bit differently or from a different angle. When I was talking to my client about how she feels like she's taken 10 steps back, we looked at what she was actually doing, and she was still maintaining a lot of what she's built over the years. She just wasn't progressing toward another goal or her next step. She was maintaining, or as she said, just maintaining. And I'm like, sisters, There is so much power in this. Maintenance is an accomplishment in and of itself. This is one that can be really, really hard for us to wrap our brains around, especially when we're overachievers. But let me let you in on a little secret. Do you know what is harder than weight loss? Maintaining weight loss. Do you know what is harder than recovering from an eating disorder? Not going back to your eating disorder. Do you know what is harder than starting a new workout regimen? Maintaining a workout regimen. There's so much more work in the maintenance than there are in those initial steps. And I think part of that is because when we're introducing something new, there's this initial sparkle, like there's a really great sense of accomplishment. We feel empowered. But when it becomes a regular part of our routine, that starts to fade off. And so we think we're not actually doing something when in reality, we're still doing something amazing, right? But it can be harder to continue to do. So in this next 2 weeks, or the final weeks of December, instead of thinking that you have like thrown in the towel, you're not doing anything, I want you to look at what you are maintaining. Like, what parts of your health journey have stuck? Is it your sweat sessions? Is it that you are still eating fruits and vegetables? Like, sure, you might be eating more desserts, but are you eating more fruits and veggies than you did at the beginning of the year? What are the pieces of your health journey that have stuck during this season? And celebrate those. That's amazing. I don't care how small you think they are change and they are growth, and they have put you in a different spot at the end of the year than you were at the beginning of the year. So we're going to celebrate that here today. Okay, so that's number one. Recognize that maintenance is an accomplishment in and of itself. Number two, y'all know I got to hit on the values piece. I just can't help myself. Lean into different values this holiday season. If you listen to my episode the first week of December, it was called Don't Wait Until January, 3 Steps to Empowered Eating During the Holidays. If you tuned in, first of all, if you didn't, go listen. If you did tune in, you heard that I have chosen to lean in more to a different value this holiday season. I really value health, and I also value joy, and I have intentionally decided to lean more into my joy value this month. And I want to invite you to do the same. Take a look at the values that you have and see how you might lean into a different one to give yourself kind of that rest and reset before the new year comes. It's amazing what happens when we allow ourselves space to explore each of the values that we have. There's growth. There's some time out from the hard work that we may be putting into some of those other values. And it allows us to be a more well-rounded, overall growth-oriented person. And I think this is a great time again to do that. Lean into a different value. For me, health is also one of my top values. So it doesn't mean me leaning into the joy value doesn't mean that I'm totally letting the health value go. And if you're thinking that way, I want to challenge you. That's like the black or white thinking. And I say that to y'all, and I just want you to know I still, like to this day, I struggle with black and white thinking so much. It drives me nuts. But at least I catch it now. We can learn to catch ourselves and redirect it and not fall trapped to it. So this season, I want you to look at those values. And during this time of rest and restoration, how might you be able to lean into one of the ones that you don't put as much energy into? Okay, so that's number 2, lean into different values more than you have in the previous times this past year. All right, number 3 is really closely linked to the empowered eating model. And this is something that I think is probably the most challenging when it comes to the empowered eating process. But I think this pause, this time out, this last couple weeks of December, this is a great time to practice a new thought around this topic. All right, you ready? Part of trusting the empowered eating process is understanding that your body is dynamic and you don't have to be chasing a specific physique all the time. You are allowed to take time off. You are allowed to enjoy yourself at a party. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to stay home and be sick, even an extra day if you want. Hello, that one's to me. You are allowed to not constantly chase perfection with your body. And this is a hard one because we feel that pressure. We feel panic when our body doesn't match what we want it to be. But you are so much more than your body. You are so much more. What you offer this world is so much bigger than what you look like. And I think this last 2 weeks of December, we can really lean into that and trust that process. Here's the thing. Because we're moving away from all or nothing thinking, this does not mean that we are never going to intentionally take care of our bodies again. No. I mean, believe me, come January, we're going to start next level nutrition, or maybe you're going to do food foundations. You're going to do things that help you feel more energy in your body. But this season, it's okay to take a pause and just enjoy, reflect on the year, look at the hard work you've done, and trust that your body is capable of that moment. Trust that your body is beautifully and wonderfully made and that it can handle a few extra cookies, because guess what, sisters, come January, I know you. You're hardworking, you're motivated, you like to get things done. You're going to come back and we're going to be here and you're going to start crushing it again. So give yourself this rest. I want you to have that permission slip. All right, to recap for you guys today. Number one, it is so important to pause, to give yourself that peace for this final 2 weeks, because we are cyclic humans. We were never intended to be performing 100% of the time. And this is why I want to invite you to take the time out, feel that equanimity, feel that peace this last 2 weeks of December, and allow yourself just some time to enjoy. How we're going to do that? Number one, recognize that maintenance is an accomplishment in and of itself. Just because we're not crushing new goals doesn't mean we're not still growing. So we're going to find growth and celebrate the things we are maintaining. Like for me, that's my workouts. I'm not hitting PRs this week for sure, but I'm still showing up and it feels really good. So we're going to celebrate that maintenance. Number two, lean into slightly different values, maybe more than we had in this past year. And number three, trust the process. Trust that our body is dynamic. And even if at some point over the next 2 weeks we feel uncomfortable in it and we don't necessarily love the way it looks, it's okay. It's fine. Because guess what? You are more than your body. I hope this blesses you, sisters. And I am praying that each of you finds a new level of peace and most importantly, connection with the people you want to be around this final 2 weeks of December as we wrap up the year. I've got one more episode dropping for you guys this year. Can you believe it? And then we're going to be heading into the new year. I'm officially marking 2023 as season 2. It's funny, like the first 2 years were season 1. I'm marking season 2, beginning 2023, because I just think there's going to be some new things that come with Fuel Her Awesome. I'm excited to bring them to you guys. We've got some new website vibes. If y'all have seen my website, you saw it got a little makeover. Shout out to Studio 410. But we also have some really cool new services that are coming to you guys. And I thought, season 2 would be appropriate. So look for that coming. And in the meantime, we are chilling out, resting, and finding so much joy in this time and this moment we have to reset. I'm wishing you all a very, very peaceful day. Cheers and happy eating. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope it strengthened your food journey and empowered you to live boldly in your body. Real quick, sister, before you go, if you liked today's episode, the best way you can thank me is head on over to iTunes, Fuel Her Awesome Podcast, leave a review and subscribe. Then take a screenshot and share it on your social media. Don't forget to tag me at JessBrownRD. And if you're looking for more resources, be sure to check out my website, JessBrownRD.com. I've got info on my e-course, Fuel Her Awesome Food Foundations, my 10-step ebook on how to beat body bullying, and so much more. I cannot wait to chat with you babes again. Until next time, cheers and happy eating.